Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's requested tutorial, I'll be sharing a detailed explanation of how to cut this asymmetry skirt and also how to join it up. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. So let's start. To start, here is my pattern paper and I'll be using the total length of this pattern paper as the length of my skirt. So here I have 25. So you can go ahead and make yours longer because what we have on the thumbnail is actually longer. So for my waistline, I marked 7 inches. And this 7 inches right here is my hip point. So if you're very tall or you're on the much taller side, you'll be using 8 inches as your hip point. And I'll just go ahead to mark this. So after that, I'll go ahead and I will label my pattern here as hip and also here as the waistline. So after that, the next step you want to mark is your waist to knee point. So you're going to place your tape at your waist and you're going to measure your knee point. So for my knee point, I have 20 inches, and at that 20 inches length, I will be coming up by 2 inches. But at first, I'll go ahead and place my tape and I'll be ruling a straight line at that 20 inches. And I'm going to label that as my knee point. So after my knee point, I'm going to be going up by 2 inches from my knee point. And at that point, that is to make sure that your skirt is fitted. That is to have a fitted skirt at the lower part of your dress. So if your skirt gets fitted immediately after the knee, you might not be able to walk very well, or it might not give you that fitting. So it's best to come up by 2 inches after your knee. So after that point, I'm going to go ahead to start marking my basic measurements. At the waistline, I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll add 1 inch to this skirt pattern because we are going to add a dart. And then I'll go ahead to add my sewing allowance. At the hip point, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4. Now I'll add my sewing allowance of 1.5 inches. So this 1.5 inches is not a standard. So whatever I have here, my hip circumference divided by 4 plus the 1.5 sewing allowance, I'm going to be taking 2 inches out of it. Why? Because I want to make the lower part of my skirt fitted. So I'm going to take that measurement, that is whatever you have on your hip minus 2. Your hip circumference divided by 4 plus your sewing allowance. After that, you take out 2 inches from it and you're going to mark it all the way to the lower part of your dress. And you're going to connect from your waist now to your hip point, and from your hip point down to your skirt length. After I'm done marking out, I'm going to use my marker to make it more visible for you to see. And after that, I'll just go ahead and I will cut out my skirt pattern. So after that, we'll be moving over to marking the dart. So for my dart, I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 on this part. And for the dart, I'll be using a 4 inches dart. You can use a 4 inches or 6 inches dart for your skirt. And I will mark. I'll be marking ½ inch on both sides, and I'll just go ahead to connect this all the way and also connect at the other side. So this dart, you also be marking it for your back skirt pattern. And after that, we are done cutting out. So to cut out your back, you're going to be adding your zipper allowance. So whenever I'm cutting my skirt, I like marking out 1.5 inches or 2 inches before marking out my skirt. So this is if you're working with a pattern, but if you're not working with a pattern paper, you're going to mark this out on your fabric and then add your 2 inches sewing allowance. But while making this skirt, you need a pattern paper because you can't directly mark the design on your dress. So first, after marking your skirt, you're going to add your zipper allowance. Then you can go ahead to place your back pattern on your main fabric and cut out. Then you're going to use this pattern now to cut out the front part of your dress. And remember, this pattern is on fold. Whatever you're going to cut out will be on fold. So from here, you're going to come down at least by 7 inches, but because my pattern paper is short, I'll be using 6 inches. And whatever you want to cut out for your design should cut across your knee point or little above your knee point at that 2 inches. So after that, I marked that point and I went down by 4 inches and I drew a curve at that point. So I'll be taking this up again and I'll measure that point. So I went up by roughly 1.7 inches, and then I'm going to go ahead to take it all the way down and then connect it almost at my knee point this way. So this is what I have at the upper part. So for the lower part, I'll just go ahead and measure about 6 inches, and from that point I'll just go ahead to come down and I will be taking it up. And make sure whatever you're drawing is proportional to the other side, or it is facing what you have on the other side. So from here, I'll come down by 4 inches and I'll connect. So this is it for the design on the skirt. And what I'll do right now is to use my marker to outline it. And after that, I'll just go ahead to cut out the skirt pattern. So after cutting this out, this is what I have. So on each part of this pattern, you're going to be adding ½ inch to it. You're going to place this on a pattern paper. You're going to be adding ½ inch on it. That ½ inch will be serving as a joining allowance. Now you're going to get this your skirt and you're going to cut the lining. You will take this part, which is going to be a mesh, and you place it this way. And you're going to be placing the mesh part in between your lining and skirt, and then you stitch and turn up the body. So for the lower part also, you're going to place the skirt, the mesh in between the skirt and the lining, and then you're going to go ahead to stitch it and also stitch the ending with ½ inch. And after joining it with ½ inch at the lower part, so it might be difficult for you to turn out. So what you're going to do is you're going to open the sides of the skirt and turn your skirt from that side, from the side that you open, and you're going to top stitch it back. So if this video was helpful, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also join us in our next video. Thanks.